Hey everyone, sorry I haven't really been posting anything. I still don't have a setup here where I can record things off the PlayStation 2 or the PS3, so I've only been recording on my computer. I do still have more Stanley Parable, but I just need to upload that. Anyway, I wanted to discuss something that I read in the Final Fantasy wiki about a spoiler for Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remake. So this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this spoiler, then don't listen. Um, so anyway, according to what I read on there, there's a thing that they're now going to have after the credits of, I believe, Final Fantasy X-2, because it takes place after the end of Final Fantasy X-2. It's a new audio drama, so there's no visuals or anything. It's just actors speaking for the characters. And it's supposed to take place 2 years after the events of Final Fantasy X-2. And it hints at the fact that Yuna and Titus, I still call him Titus, I don't care what everyone, I can call him Tita, because anyway, Yuna and Titus were together, and now they are breaking up because he likes somebody else. And she's like, that's fine, I like someone else too. And it was like this new kid that's like 17, and like, I forget how old Yuna is, but I feel like she'd be too old for a 17-year-old at this point. And like, I just what's the point? Like, we had X-2, we had the happy ending, like, good God, they ripped my heart out at the end of 10. I will say this, 10 is the only game I've ever cried at the ending for. And I was so desperate to play X-2. I actually bought the Japanese version of it so I could play it and see what happened, even though I pretty much knew what happened because all the cutscenes went online as soon as it was released in Japan. So I knew that I was going to save Titus, but I was like, I had to do it. I had to save him. Like, I had to. So I was all excited about the end of X-2, and it was so happy, and it's like, Lulu and Waka have a baby, and it's like all happiness and joy, and it's like, and then they have to go and do this, and just ruin everything. And apparently there was like a comic, a manga, that was like X-2.5, which was supposed to lead into a possible sequel, but I just want to pretend that this audio drama doesn't even exist. It just pisses me off. Now I'm going to look up some more things about it, and then I'm going to continue to talk about it, but right now I just had to get my initial reaction before I read into it a little more. Okay, so I just looked up the summary of Final Fantasy X-2.5, which is the comic. It was apparently, or it's a novel, I'm sorry, it's not even a comic. It was released on the day after Christmas, so this is brand new, and it ends with "to be continued." And if this continues into X-3, like, it just, I don't know, like, it's just pissing me off. So this only takes place a couple months after the end of X-2. So, and then the other one takes place a year after the events of X-2. So this is the summary for the comic, or I keep wanting to call it a comic, the novel. Going on a trip together, Titus and Yuna end up shipwrecked on an unknown island. Titus and Yuna have changed a lot in a few months they have spent together since reuniting. Titus acts carefree, and he does not realize the nature of his existence, and if he were to realize it, he would disappear again. Yuna has grown cold and distant through being exhausted by Titus's attitude. The two argue about this, and in his anger, Titus mistakes a spherical bomb on the beach for a blitzball and kicks it. The resulting explosion kills him, and his body disappears into pyreflies. Yuna faints from the shock, and after recovering, she learns that the island is the home of an unsensed summoner. From the time of Xanarkand, the island acted as a sanctuary during the Machina Wars, and the disguised bombs on the beach were used as defense mechanisms. Yuna recalls Titus from the farplane by whistling as she had done before, but soon realizes that the Titus that she summoned is not the one she once knew, and breaks up with him. The farplane becomes unstable, and the dead begin to return to Spira through a phenomenon called the beckoning. Sin is among those who has been beckoned back into existence. What are they doing? I feel like they're creating a sequel just, like, they're setting this up just to make a sequel. Like, 10 didn't even really need a sequel. It's just everyone was like, whoa, Titus died. Like, they couldn't get over it. So like, I understood 10 too, because I was part of those people that was like, oh my god, he can't die. Like, I couldn't have him dead. But now it's like, okay, so he might as well just stay dead if he's not the same Titus, and that doesn't make sense. Because at the end of 10-2, like, he says, she asks if he's real, and he says yes. I can't remember the exact dialogue of events that happens in the end, or at the end of the Japanese version. I'm pretty sure in the Japanese version she asks, are you real? And he goes, oh, that's what it is. She asks, are you real? And he says, I think so. And then he says, will I pass? And then he says he's home. So it gives the impression that he knows what's going on, and he's like happy to be back. But now they're trying to make it seem like they weren't. He didn't know. So I'm just so confused. And then for Will, the audio drama, it's called Final Fantasy X Will. Takes place several months after the events of 10.25. It centers around two new characters who, again, one is, I think, too young for Yuna, because he's 17. Let's see how old Yuna is. Yeah, Yuna was 17 in 10, 19 in 10-2, so she'd be 20 now, and liking a 17-year-old. It's a little bit of a stretch for that age group, if you ask me. 3 years difference is not that big of a deal when you're older, but being 17 and 20, it's quite a big difference, especially when she's the girl. But the quote at the beginning of the wiki is 2 years. It's been 2 years since Spirit entered the internal comm. I was given a new life. For a year, I was able to walk alongside Yuna. It was great. It really was, which, again, that's Titus at the beginning of the audio drama, so that leads me to believe that they're no longer together. And it says that one of the characters overhears them speaking, and it seems like they're breaking up. So this just pisses me off. Like, what? I just don't understand why they would do this to these characters. It's like, it was all set up, it was all fine, everything was good and happy. It's like, oh no, we can't have that. Sin has to come back. Titus is gonna turn into this character that just dies every 2 seconds, but Yuna can just bring him back from the fire plane, because that's what she can do all of a sudden. Like, I don't know. I was excited about the HD remakes, but now, I don't know. I still love 10, and I still like 10 too. So I was planning on playing those on the channel, so hopefully I'll still play those, because the remakes actually, from the original trailers, it looked kind of like the characters were dead in the eyes, but I just think it was unfinished textures, because everything I've seen from the release in Japan, it does look pretty good, and they don't look as dead as they did originally. So I think it was just like glossiness that was missing from the eyes that now they actually look pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, apparently at the end of the drama, Yuna gives the speech to a crowd. Well, Titus says that he wants to follow Yuna and the others on her new journey, and since he promised that he would be with her forever, it's like, I guess I have to. And then elsewhere, Yuna delivers a speech to the crowd at a stadium proclaiming that she will defeat Sin once again. Okay. Who cares? Like, I don't want to fight Sin again. If I was going to do something in Final Fantasy X, I'd rather it be like 10-2, where it was a new enemy. It would be like... I literally was just thinking it would be like for Final Fantasy VII if they brought back Sephiroth, and then I realized that that is exactly what they did in Advent Children. So they brought back Sephiroth, so of course I should have expected this from Square Enix now. But God, Ugh, don't let there be a 10-3. Just let it stop. Don't do it. Make Kingdom Hearts 3. That's fine. You left Kingdom Hearts kind of open. Do a Kingdom Hearts 3. That's fine. But Final Fantasy X doesn't need a 3. Just stop. Oh, you know what you could do is a remake of 7, because that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants that. No one wanted a Final Fantasy X-3. No one. I mean, I did originally, but now I don't. Now it's like, oh yeah, that Titus guy that you were like so devastated that died and then we brought back from the dead. Well, actually, he's not really him because he doesn't remember what happened. So now he's carefree. Because remember, he was carefree at the beginning. And it's the events of the journey that they took together that changed him and made him grow up. Oh yeah, well now he's back to the little brat that he was at the beginning that nobody liked. Yay. So, that's my spoiler rant for Final Fantasy X HD Remake bullshit. It's called Final Fantasy X-Will, if you want to check it out. I didn't read the whole summary of events because I do kind of want to be a little surprised, and I already read enough to piss me off. So yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, Titus also wears a bandana in his hair like his father. Okay, I'm done. Maybe I'll go play some games for you guys.